Hello everybody, this is Old School from White Box Gaming. Today I'm playing Medieval Dynasty, and this is going to be a quick tutorial on how to manage your villagers. Now, I'm going to give you a quick tour of my village real quick. It's winter time right now. I have my village set up for 30 days, it, per season. Most people I think have theirs set by default to like 4 or whatever. For me, that just goes too fast. There's so much that I need to get done per season. I know a lot of people complained about winter, though there's not a whole lot to do. In my opinion, there's a ton of things to do per season. All right, without further ado, though, I'm going to kind of show you what I have set up here. I have a workshop level 2 set up. If you're just starting the game, you're just starting out, you probably won't have any of this set up. You'll probably be limited to the default 5 buildings. So I'm going to tell you what you want to do for your 5 buildings first. You'll want to have your simple house, which yours will probably be smaller than mine because mine's the upgraded simple house. So you'll definitely need a simple house for yourself. And then how I started out, I had one simple house for a villager. So there's 2 buildings. And then I had my hunting lodge, which my hunting lodge is all the way up there. I'm not going to run all the way up there, but it's all the way out there. So there's 3 buildings. And then you need a resource building for sure. So that's building number 4. And my resource building is down there now. It actually used to set right here and I just destroyed it not too long ago. So there's 4 buildings. And then the last thing that you absolutely will probably want to have is your woodshed. So that's a total of 5 buildings that you'll need to get this kind of started. So once you have all that built, I'm going to show you how to actually set this up. So you want to press your tab key and then you'll go into management. Now this part right here honestly was really confusing for me and I didn't really understand the management tab at first. So once you get your first villager, you're going to go in here and you do that by just double clicking. So let me tab out. I'm sorry, go back into the management. Find a worker. So I'm going to just pick I think this is my wife. I'm just going to double click on her to bring up this menu, or I believe there's a hotkey F to manage. Oh, I guess this is not my wife. This is somebody else. This is Lumberjack. Right, so it has their basic info here, and then it has the house that they're assigned to. In your case, it'll be unassigned. So you'll press the F key. If you notice where it says manage assignment, it might be easier just to click so you can kind of see. Go into that manage assignment and then you should have, if you're just starting out, you'll only probably have one house listed. So just throw that person in this house. Press your escape key or you can go back to manage. Again, double click. So now they're set up. They should have a house assigned to them. Next thing is this should be empty. It'll say, hey, assign them a job. So you'll come in here and I would use Woodshed 1, but their job is already assigned. And then you just assign them to that woodshed. Okay, all is great in the land of Oz as far as that part. That's easy enough to set up. Everybody can kind of figure out that part. Now, actually setting up your production for your buildings, this is the tricky part. So you want to come in here, blank slate. You want to click on this tab right here, this little buildings icon. And then you're going to come in here to extraction, expand that, select on the woodshed, open the details. This is the part that got me really tripped up. So you should have your little worker here assigned. If not, you'll go ahead and assign them. And then this part right here, this tab right here is the part that really got me messed up. This is by default will be nothing. They will literally be doing nothing. So you'll want to assign tasks that you want them to perform based on a percentage. and they don't ever actually chop wood. For example, for the woodshed, they never actually go out and chop wood. You'll see them walking around. They never actually chop down trees. So this is just, procedurally generated or just automatically generated, piles up. So I'll get 2 logs. I don't know if that's an hour or however what that goes by. I'll get 30 sticks and 9 planks. This might be per day. I don't know. I don't know the 100% details on that. I just know that's what you're going to get. So that's that. That's pretty much how you set that part up. And then I have some exclamation marks here. I'll kind of show you what's going on over here. So now that I have my woodshed set up, you may be getting some icons like indicating that they are out of food, water, whatever. And if you don't have a food storage because, well, you don't have enough buildings, if you don't have a food storage, then how you handle your villagers is really simple. You go to their actual house that they're assigned to, go into their chest, and I no longer did this, but you put a bucket of water in here, you put food and firewood. Put all of those things in there, and then they will stop complaining and they will start actually doing stuff. Next thing is to get them started is if they have complaints. So like this hunting lodge, I'm assuming the tool is broke. Yeah, you're going to get status no tool. So when your tool is broken, you have 2 options. You can either, well, 3 options. You can either put the tool in their house, which seems to work sometimes, hit or miss. You can put it inside the shed or the hunting lodge inside their little chest. That works if you don't have a resource building, which I highly recommend that you have a resource building. It's just makes your life way easier. So that's an option, or you can do what I'm about to do, where I'm going to put this in the resource shed. And I'm out of knives, so I'm just going to go make a bunch of stone knives. And this is really what you're going to do anytime that you're low on resources or your villages are needing tools, whatnot. You want to go into the resource shed or storage and just craft things in here and then just drop them in the bucket or in the chest, I mean. So I'm going to do this real quick. I'm probably not going to make all 22 of these. I'll just get enough to get it started. I'll show you just for demonstration purposes what's going to happen. So right now we're not producing any food. Right now they don't have any tools to produce food. They're just kind of chilling in the shed. So let's get 10 and then we'll just exit. And if you're on here, by the way, and you're wondering how to stop them from crafting in the middle of crafting, just press your escape key. Alright, so I craft enough. I think we're good. That'll last them a while. So I'm going to put all this materials back in there. I've got 12 stone knives. Let me make sure. Do I have one for myself? It looks like not, so I'll just keep one for myself. Alright, so now we have stone knives in here. And again, just double check. Here they are. 11 stone knives. Exit out. Press tab. Go back into your management. And look, the exclamation mark is gone. Their knife is back to durability of 50 of 50. I like to keep the tools stocked plentiful just because I like to run off and do quests and stuff, and I don't like to have to come over here and hold hands for these things, especially for hunting, because hunting's the most important thing that you could probably have in-game set up, because that's your food. And your villagers are completely dependent on everything for food and water. So that's pretty much how you set up your food. And when you can, as soon as you can, set up a resource storage. This is resource storage level 1. Now, what will happen is eventually you'll be like me and you'll just have a massive amount of food. And I use food now as an income. I take food and I sell it. Just to kind of give you to set up though on the water, if you want to set that process up as well, I use buckets. That's pretty much how I'm doing it. And you only get that when you get a well. So here's how this is going to go down when you're going to manage this as well, because this is kind of important for your setup process. So in order to make buckets, you need the workshop to make planks. You can't buy planks, or at least I think you can, but they're pretty expensive. So get planks. You know, you make a woodshed, you need one anyway. And then you need a workshop to make the buckets out of planks. I think it's like 400 or 500 coins to unlock the bucket. That's absolutely necessary. Once you get more established, you'll want to set that up to where you have buckets. And again, drop your buckets in your resource storage. Now my well is up here. I'm going to run up here to my well real quick and kind of give you a quick tour of the well. And I have what they call a water carrier. My water carrier, essentially she just grabs buckets from the resource storage and fills the buckets and then puts them in the food storage. So let's run up here and I'll show you how to set that up as well, because that's, again, it's a little tricky. So here's my well. So I had to go to this barrel. Okay, and when I started, I just put the buckets in there, which worked just fine. I didn't realize it worked like a regular storage. But again, learning curve, whatever. So yeah, you want to start out, you probably want to put a bucket in there just to get it going. And then go into your management. Again, like we did for the hunting lodge, I believe the water carrier is, I thought it was under storage, but maybe it's on production. Let's see. Let's see. Is it farming? Or maybe extraction. Oh, it's extraction. Okay. So it's under extraction. I have somebody assigned who's the water carrier. And literally her job here is to take buckets from the resource shed and just fill them with water and then put them in the food storage. That's literally her entire job. Now, a lot of people have set this up to where it's on a cycle, or it's on like an endless cycle, so where you have somebody who's a water carrier, and then you have somebody at the woodshed who's making planks, and then you have somebody at the workshop who's taking those planks and making buckets. And so that creates an endless cycle of water supply for your villagers. Now, that idea is nice in theory. The problem is that you're going to end up with like a billion buckets in food storage. So you probably want to set that up appropriately to where they're not only making just buckets at your workshop. Or you can do like I do, where I just kind of manually do some of this stuff. I rely mostly on my villagers to go out and get me the raw materials. And even then, when you're starting out, when you have that first 5 building limitation, you're going to do a lot of manual gathering yourself. There's not going to be a whole lot of automation set up. So anyway, this is how you get started. This is how you start managing your village as far as assigning them with jobs and essentially what buildings you need to get started.